As I said, we are going to go into control dramas after we go through Life Path, and I love the intro I just did. I'm not even gonna lie, that is full stream, and I love when I do get the stream because the stream means that I am in purpose, I am in flow, and that is one reason why I love to go play basketball is because I know how to put my mind in a trance and allow my body to actually sort of take over in the sense, and it's the same in this and vice versa. I know how to put my body in a trance and let my mind take over and then pull them into cohesion. And that's the same thing as when we are talking about, and I am going to go on a little river for about this for a second, ego and soul. Everybody loves to bash the ego. Everybody is like, kill the ego, like, and on the ego. No, like, that doesn't make sense. That's the same thing if we were talking about, oh, the mind is superior, your body is nothing. It's just this bag and this sack of whatever holding your soul until the next life. Like, toss it, doesn't care, eat whatever you want. No, it's the same thing with the ego. We actually need to nourish it, embrace it, and actually pull it under our control and not our control as we think of me, because that's the ego. We need to pull it under the control of the soul. Once the ego is under control of the soul, you are, I, I can't even really begin to give you the amount of not just energy, but the amount of you, of soul that you are going to be able to reinforce and put out into the world. And that's when people are like, whoa, there are really miracles happening. Yes, because as you desire and you see what it is what you really at your core and your heart want to see manifest in the world, you will see that the world wants that for you just as much and is conspiring with you as you put that out in vibration, as you speak that out and it reverberates back, as your heart resonates that and your mind projects those images, and those images say, this is the person that wants this to happen, this is the person that's calling this forth. As those things start to crystallize and you look around your bubble and your aura, only thing that starts to happen is the inner bubble already resonated it and the outer one is starting to pull in cohesion, and at some point that little thin glass or bubble, or like kind of said, my memories museum, it starts to ripple and fade away, and then they pull into one and you go, I've stepped in. And many times when that happens, you've already started creating a more grand vision. So people will, I can't remember who I was watching, I think it was John Asarov, and you will go in your box and you will look at one of your dream boards of the pictures of whether it was your house you wanted, your wife you wanted, the dream car, whatever that is, the social circle, the community, like your impact on the world. You will look at that board and you'll go, whoa, this happened. And that will be the moment of self-awareness that you have come to a point that you have already been, but be able to see it in a different light. That is transfiguration. That is transmutation. That is you taking what already is and being able to see with a new awareness, because you are different, because you have changed the way that you are. And so when you return back home, you will have a greater appreciation for what home is in its totality, because you have been seeing derivatives of it and everywhere and everything, aka God is within everything. You will be able to actually see with a capital S, actually have clarity. And actually when you see, that means your heart is open. And when you actually have that kind of awareness, everything, you are pretty much a vortex at that point, and everything resonates with you. And as you put out that love, it all comes back. But that is the reason why your awareness is keen and able to give you the experience of life that you really desire, that you know you are destined for, that abundant life. And your joy may be locked in there right now, but the moment that we are able to again make that choice to say, this is who I am, this is how I am, our heart unlocks, we are able to accept, we are able to forgive, we are able to let go. All of the things that has us in a grip and a hold and tight like this, that rigidity that I first started off the first couple episodes with, that I didn't know we would be getting all the way here, and I wasn't trying to put this all on a timeline in a perfect way, but that's what happens when you take the downloads. That's what happens when you take the inspiration that is given to you from life and you create that. You iterate that right back. Life is going to show you exactly what's happening, and you'll end up with the book of life at the end of writing your novel and go, oh my God. And when you really see, you won't even take credit for it as it is. You will say, this is actually of, this is from. That's spirituality. You've been doing your practice. Now you see life as it is, and you're able to give your gift. You're able to actually be in the world. You are actually living a meaningful life because you are sharing the greatest gift. You're actually sharing your unique ability. You're sharing your present as it is. And so it's beautiful how all these things tie back in. But to go a little bit further, it's funny because as we talk about life path, I think really all of us, we get used to, again, that cultural, really it's mind washing, that cultural mind control of what started, and I don't even want to say what started because it still is, started as the American dream, but what started as just the house and the picket fence and the yard and the nuclear family, we got the dog, the 2 kids, and we're just happy and we're in the burbs. Like, it started as that, but now it's really turned into the most blown out, like, steroided version of that, which is actually the more disease. Like, it is, now I need the mansion that just could fit 100 families and it's just me and my girl, and we need the 15 cars. We don't even really drive one of them. I just need all these things. It's the more culture, and it is, in a sense, her many different spiritualists, scientists, many different people say it's pretty much that cancerous, like, it's just rapidly just building. It's so much to the point that it is until the host is just done. And it's the same way in what we do to our body. It's the same way that we do to our mind. Stress. Work. People could be like, you're sick and you need to stop working at least for 2 days because you really aren't even able to work right now. And the culture that we have is so more and so geared towards enough, but not having enough. So people are actually, I just watched The Abundance Code, and that also, it woke me up and made me feel so good, because all of the things that I've been speaking on has been, my aunt just commented on my video, Tony Talks, I love the love. But these, what was I hitting on? More. This enough culture is getting to a point where we're actually focused on, and I saw an abundance, and I loved abundance because it woke me up to, again, that's actually what I was saying. I've been speaking on all of these things, and you have to love when you get the validation from the universe that, like, oh my gosh. And my aunt, who I just mentioned, my mom told me that, she said, like, oh, he really knows what he's talking about. And that made me feel so good, because hearing that from, she's a professional clinical psychologist. I know she knows what she's talking about, regardless if she ever got a degree or whatever it is. I respect the understanding that the acquire and the practice of knowledge is what it is without a degree. Like, if you study psych, or you study healing, you study Ayurvedic, you study medicine, you study what you study, I respect that. So without that, but hearing her and knowing, like, who she is and how she really gets down, how she's connected with source, it was love. In the same way that I'm talking about the abundance, it was love to hear that, because it made me go, it don't matter, okay, I got my bachelor's, and that's cool in psych, but, like, that doesn't mean to me what I've put into psych. That doesn't show anybody how long I've really been into esoteric psychology, and really been, like I said, at 20, 22, 21, awakened for my first time, and then had a couple more awakening experiences the following years after. It does not show that to anyone. But what does show that with someone who has awareness and who understands the levels to vibration, when someone sees what we're talking about, when someone sees what we are talking about, just like she did, when they see it and you have awareness, there's discernment. There is acceptance. There are forces that obviously we give words to, that is such as like intuition or, again, receptivity, that someone at a certain vibration, whether, let's just give it numbers just to help, someone at a level 15 vibration and then someone 10 vibration watching the same video may say, oh man, he knows what he's talking about. But the level 15 will have a greater discernment, greater ability to, let's just call it, nitpick at the specifics of what I'm talking about. And then it doesn't matter what, it may be this segment, discernment itself, and be able to take that and put it into a 30-page paper, be able to turn that into a TED Talk, be able to say the reason they know what I'm talking about because they have the experience with it. Experience is not time that you've been in it. Experience is the time that you've been with it while intimate with it, within it, and been able to integrate it. And that's why I always love when we come back to integration. Here we're all about integration, self-awareness, and self-optimization through self-love, and which is through self-awareness. And so this is integral, and I love the abundance and how they just let you know everything I've been talking about. I just did episodes on abundance, so I'm just like, come on now. But to tie this all back in, again, we're talking about life path, and we're in this enough culture. Well, actually, we're focused on not enough, debt. I mean, our country runs on deficit. We just had to raise the deficit. I'm not going to get into all that, but that just shows, it literally shows how we are running on a scarcity and abundance. And that's why I'm going to even use the term that they use. They called it the scarcity. Pretty much it was like the scarcity illusion. The scarcity trap is what they used. And so why is that important? Because we are not aware. Why not? It must be distraction. If we're not focused on the right thing, we must be distracted by the wrong thing, or a wrong application of the right thing. So we're still, someone's still around, a distraction. And so having the awareness to understand that and be able to say, okay, how do we fixate properly on this, as opposed to not enough. People are doing things like buying cars, stuff, clothes, anything, whatever it is, to try to fill up the hole inside and try to look a certain way to somebody else, that it's completely insane. But I say that because we're on life path, and it reminds me somewhat of, like, everybody wants to have this really, really lavish life in the city life. Like, let's just say in LA, just have the fastest this, have the baddest that, have the biggest this. And it's funny because that reminds me sort of the superhuman type of movies, or paranormal, psychic type ability type of movies, where it's always normal people who desire to have, that fast life and all that stuff, have it all lavish. But to really, once they somewhat get and shift their mindset or get in that state, they want the simplistic. They want to actually take away all the hustle bustle, the distraction. They want to get rid of that and push the focus into that place of peace, that centering of self. And so it's wild, because I just said, okay, that was with people with the business type archetype, right? But it's the same in the superhuman type movies with a Peter Parker, with a Batman, with any of these kind of heroes or a hero archetype, to where they may have even wanted powers, they may have asked for, or they may have not wanted it, but they wanted a greater purpose. And then once getting that, and having and being like, oh man, and starting to go through that journey as that phenomenon opened up the path to, as they have asked and it has been intended for them, through that, through all of it, even though like the good battles, the bad ones, all of it, like they get down to it and go, I don't even really like want the powers. I just want like some love and to be normal, like a nice, like calm this down, live life type of life and enjoy it. And so it's funny that we get there. It's actually hilarious because what just popped in my mind was 2 days ago, I said to myself, and it's been popping up to me, but I said out loud to myself, I realized like I asked so long ago that if I ever could have a power, and I used to always just say this and I wanted this before, and this what got me on the spiritual path, but I used to just say,